Hey everyone, it's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into tonight's NBA games just because obviously we're not going to have a lot of time because we have some games tomorrow as far as football, and we have a pretty lengthy college schedule. The reason I'm not playing the Bucks Heat, I thought at first I liked the Heat, and if you happen to catch this like live or early, you can play the Heat if you want to cover. It's just when you have both teams that are injured, I just don't love that. Now, I'm not much of a number person, but I do pay attention when I feel like sometimes that there's a repetition or a commonality or just an interesting number in general. So what I did notice and what I think would be interesting here is they love palindromes in the NBA and all these leagues. So I think there's a good chance the Hornets straight up win this game, sending Boston to 31-13. Which, of course, is a palindrome, their favorite number, 13, and right after Friday the 13th. Now, I'm going to take Charlotte with the points because, again, I don't just rely on gematria and things of that nature. I like to fall back on things. I like the fact that Charlotte's pretty bad against the spread and Boston's pretty good. There's probably going to be public on the spread here for Boston. 8's not that many points. So there's a lot of reasons I do like it. But, yeah, I do think, and Boston can, again, stay on 24 wins here, and with 8 points, 24-8. You'll see a lot of these same numbers just keep repeating themselves. So I do think that Charlotte can definitely cover here, and I wouldn't be surprised if they actually got the win. But like I said, I don't always go deep into the numbers. But when I see palindromes, numbers like pi, Kobe numbers, stuff like that, I do pay attention. But that's just going to be a leg one, Charlotte plus 8. Here we got the Grizzlies, Pacers. Again, I'm staying away from this one. If you haven't noticed, I don't play a lot of Pacers. When I do about average to below average. They've been a great spoil team, and they've lost when they shouldn't. And even when you try and play the trap, they seem to kind of go against that. There are some teams that just seem to do that. So I like the Nets are that way as well. So I admittedly don't play those games because I don't think it's advantageous just to play games to play them. Hawks-Raptors is another one. It can go either way. The Hawks have been looking average at best. It is suspect that they're getting 7 here. For that reason alone, I like the Raptors. And because, just like I went over with the numbers, I'm not saying this always happens, but they love knotting up teams with the same record. So Raptors win, and they're both 20 and 23. They love doing that. I don't know why, but it's another thing I've noticed. So here I like the Raptors cover. Again, the 20-23 just means they win. Doesn't necessarily mean they cover. I'm going to take them to cover. I think a lot of people are going to like Atlanta plus 7 there. That's another leg one. This one is interesting. It's almost like they won people. So if you just saw, it just switched from 3 to 4.5, and it was at 5. So they're playing some serious games on this game here with Cleveland, Minnesota. There's either a ton of action going or they're trying to get people to bet one way or another because it was literally just 3. It was 5 before I went in there. So you see how it says 3 because I went back. It was 5 or like 20 minutes ago. Then it says 3. Now it says 4.5. So what I can say on this one is I like Cleveland and I'm going to buy them down to 4. It just seems to me, I could be wrong, the way that it's moving, that A, it's going to be a clip, and B, they are probably going to have a lot of people taking the Wolves in this game. They're coming off finally kind of getting some stuff together, and this is what I was saying, 4 out of 5. Once that happens is when people start taking them, and then you look at Cleveland, they've done all right, they've eked out a couple, and then they've had a couple losses, but I think people looking at the last 5 and just looking in general are going to like Cleveland here. Maybe buy them up. But I think this might be exactly a 4-point game. So I'm going to buy Cleveland down to 4. My book might even have them at 4, in which case I'll buy them to 3.5. But these are the type of games you want to buy, the ones where there's some suspicious movement with the lines. Because they don't move. I don't think they move it on accident. As you can see, it's back to 3, only because I went back. But so yeah, here I do like Cleveland. I think more will be on the Wolves. Just watch the closing line on that one. Now, the only leg 2 I like tonight is this game. I like the Blazers. I will buy it down to 1 point. I'm going to buy a half, and it's a leg 2. The reason I'm buying a half is because so many people just think just because it's basketball or something, it has to be a 2-point game. or football has to be a 3-point game. They know, Vegas knows this, and there will be a lot of 1-point games. Now, I think this is a potential playoff matchup. Probably not these two teams, but again, they're trying to get all these teams familiarized with each other to see who works good together. So, again, these teams will be in the playoffs. So I think it makes sense that the Blazers win this game at home. They need to start winning some games so they can get into the playoffs, and so they can start matching up and looking good against other teams. They already did it with the Pelicans. They did it against the Suns. I think they did it against the Warriors. So now I think it's the Mavericks' turn to let the Blazers look really good. So I expect the Blazers to win this game and probably go on a little bit of a spree like we just saw the Knicks do. That's how they do it. You go on a little bit of a run, and then they can kind of get them where they need them for the playoffs. So I do like the Blazers a lot here. I'll buy them down to 1. Again, wait for the closing lines. And if they start moving too much against you, and now you're at -4, then you might want to reconsider and just take the money line. Because, again, yesterday I put my video out, and I went specifically into some of the lines and why I liked the numbers. And as you can see, a lot of the lines will move, even within an hour. Marco, I think it's funny. It won't let me parlay 2 ends on mine, so I can't do the cover for one team and the win for the other. But just separately, or if you're able to parlay them, that's a great play. I think it is. I think that's an easy one to catch both ends on, as far as the cover for the Seattle and the win for San Francisco. But so here I like Portland. It's going to be a leg 2 here. And it's pretty simple. This is more of a narrative game. I'm surprised they didn't wait and put this one on TV, but it'll still be a good game. And I'm not going to play the Jazz. Again, Philly Jazz, they've been like the Nets this year. They've been very shaky, where it's just hard to get a read on them, for me at least. So we're not playing a ton of games. Just, again, Hornets cover, Wolves cover. I like this one again. Now it is back to 3. So it's very interesting how they're moving it back and forth. I would take Cleveland here if you can get them at 3. If it moves back to 4.5, I would at least buy it down to 4. And then I do like, again, I think this is too many points. I'll take the Raptors to cover this. And then for a 4th game, only leg 2. So for the only one for 2 units, I'm buying the Blazers down to 1. And I think it's a pretty simple, couple of metrics, nothing crazy. But for people that like playing the NBA, there's 4 good plays. Celtics is a little different because I usually don't pick just off numerology and things, but I thought that 31-13 is very interesting. And Hawks, Pet Raptors just looks like it's a little too heavy on the points. Cavs, I just think they've been moving the points around too much that you can probably, if you get the lower end here, 3 points, you'll probably get it. You'll probably clip it by a point. I could be wrong. And you know how I feel about the Blazers. So nothing crazy. I just wanted to get these out for people. And we only have 1 college game in play right now. Kentucky looking pretty good. So last I checked, at least. So we'll have to, wait for the rest. We have a bunch of college in play. And, of course, we have the 2 NFL games. But now we have the full slate, NBA, NFL, and college. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.